A great concept spoiled by its own marketing still makes for a pretty fun time. When I say Jack Quaid was born to play Reddit Nice Guys, I mean it in the best way possible. This is literally what you get if you took a cheesy Hallmark rom-com and dropped a serial killer in it. I could have used more kills in the first third, but the chemistry between the leads was strong enough to keep it afloat. Ke Huy Quan is the only thing keeping this movie from being literally unwatchable. 3 years ago, Ariana DeBose won an Oscar and decided on the spot to never do a good movie again. Imagine Final Destination on bath salts and you've got a pretty good idea of what the monkey is. This is intended exclusively for those who knew that The Human Centipede was meant to be a comedy. Way more blunt than Parasite in terms of commentary. Not exactly Bong's best, though it is saved by Robert Pattinson and most of the comedy. The moment you see the type of character Mark Ruffalo is playing, you'll know if it's gonna work for you or not. And this is Jack Quaid's other natural role, the Bruce Campbell type. You know, the guy you like and root for almost as much as you enjoy seeing the absolute shit get kicked out of him. That guy. Stellar animation, very hit or miss comedy. I'm much more partial to the funny asshole version of Daffy Duck. Farmer Jim is undeniably the GOAT of this movie. Unfortunately, this wasn't nearly as fun or off-the-wall bonkers as The Beekeeper. Jason Statham's gonna run out of jobs to be at this point. I bet it's only gonna be a couple years before we see Jason Statham is unemployed. I saw this movie instead of Minecraft. I'm sure it's still somehow better. This movie knows it's stupid, but is still somehow dumber than it thinks. Only watch if you are a die-hard David Howard Thornton fan. There are some movies that just don't live up to the hype, and this is not one of them. Yeah, Sinners is just as great as everyone says. A period piece with vampires that's also kind of a musical. Both Michael B. and A. Jordan are unsurprisingly great too, but I think Jack O'Connell gives my favorite line delivery of the year so far with, well, here's a hint. Okay, the first Accountant was pretty goofy, but this is just a straight buddy comedy with a human trafficking subplot. And I see we're still doing movies where autism is basically a superpower. The director of The Raids has unfortunately slumped a little bit here. Most of the Netflix budget was used to unlock the infinite ammo hack. Seriously, Tom Hardy fires like 50 shots from a pistol before he needs to reload. I know after nearly 5 years of chewing on plastic dog poop that a raisin can taste like a steak dinner, but this was a lot better than a raisin. As fun as this was, we are still quite a ways from back, so don't get too excited. I hear there's more slop coming. Look, I love dumb, over-the-top action flicks as much as the next guy, but if you're going to set yours on a plane, and you don't even have the courtesy to show someone getting sucked into a turbine, that just shows a lack of confidence. If you're going to go there, go all the way. 1 part supernatural horror, 1 part Looney Tunes cartoon. Just the way I like it. If they made this franchise the next Fast and Furious where they just release one every few years until the end of time, I think I'd be okay with that. I already did a review on this, but to recap, really strong first and second act, well worth getting through what's basically a glorified clip show. Look, subverting expectations can be fun, but when a movie knows what you want and is not afraid to give it to you, that's even better. The Predator franchise has been around for so long, it kind of makes you wonder why a movie like this hasn't been done before. And you bet your ass I'll be first in line for Badlands later this year. If the phrase dueling flamethrowers does not sell you on this instantly, I don't think anything will. In my eyes, the John Wick franchise has yet to miss, but that's mainly because I never watched Continental and never will. I think I've come to terms with liking Wes Anderson's writing and characters more than his actual visual style, which can get pretty overbearing. It's got a lot of fun moments, but I barely remember a single character that wasn't played by Michael Cera. It's okay to admit that Wes Anderson peaked with Grand Budapest Hotel. A deeply emotional, empathetic, and tragic coming-of-age story featuring what may be one of Ralph Fiennes' greatest performances of his career, as well as several people getting their entire spines yanked out by a 7-foot-tall infected swinging its massive, veiny, gangrenous zombie schlong. So, best of both worlds.